Hello, everyone. We are live from South Korea, Ganyam. Did I say it right? I hope so. Guys, I'm so happy to see all of you. I know I may be a little delayed. I hope not. But today we have a very special episode for you. I have one of my favorite human beings, Alex Merritt, the love engineer here in the house, and also another one of my favorite, Mr. Isaac Flenner from Stearns Bank, one of my favorite lenders up in here. He is incredible. He's going to be imparting some knowledge. Today's event or episode is about relationships with people and money. So let's talk about it. Alex, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I heard you have another one of your incredible dessert and discussions coming up. The state of the relationship, is that right?
Yes, that's right. State of relationship, how we stay together.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's everything. You have to be there, and you're in Korea. So again, for the people that are listening, again, join me Sunday, August 27th, here at the Moxie Uptown. We will be talking about, again, how we stay together. Couples will be able to share their perspectives, and singles, again, will get this wonderful insight from couples who've been dating for 10 years up to those that have been married for like 42 years and then some. So it's going to be good. But then I guess the catch is, like, even though you're in Korea, you can actually still join, because we also have live virtual tickets available as well.
I beg your pardon. I did not know that, ma'am.
Yes, there are live and virtual tickets. So we will be virtually streaming this as well. So you can get a virtual ticket as well as a live ticket. For live, you get dessert, because again, we'll have dessert in person. But again, if you're virtual from Korea, you can tune in.
Okay, that's incredible. I did not know that. I have to tune in now, because, I mean, what would it be without me being there, bugging you and asking you questions?
Your questions. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I just want to shout out some of the incredible Black business owners and supporters that have just joined us here. We have Mr. Joseph Ballard. Good afternoon to you.
Hey.
Jeremiah Larty from Ghana, all the way from Ghana. We also have Brittany Fowler, who has an incredible hair shop. And then Miss Nadine, who's located in Brooklyn Park. We have Charles Steele, who does landscaping, guys, and actually painting, anything construction-wise. You can shout out to you guys, and thank you for joining us. I see several of you coming in. Thank you so much for coming to support Alex and to learn from our very own Isaac Flenner. So can you tell us, where can they find tickets? What can they expect to learn and see? Because the last event that we came to, it was deeply impactful. You were teaching us how to build a better relationship with ourselves, so that we can have better relationship with others. And I want to know, what can they expect at this event?
Absolutely. They can go grab tickets at dessertdiscussion.com at the events. They can go grab them there. This one is going to be about how to communicate, how to connect, how to solve conflict. How do you stay together for the long run? And so the couples that'll be on this love seat will be sharing, again, the good, the bad, the ugly, if you will, but yet how they still manage to stay together. And not just stay together, because I'm not about just people enduring relationships. You get to have a happy, satisfying relationship. Because I say all the time, it's like, there's so many mediocre things in life. Your relationship shouldn't be one of them.
Ooh, mediocre. I know that's right. And I have to agree with that statement. So for those of you that don't know and just joined, because I see we just had a bunch of people come in, we are live from South Korea, Seoul. I'm over here because my cousin Linda brought me here. Hi, Linda. She's right here in the background. Guys, it's incredible here. I forgot that I was Black. And they apparently have too. So I'm enjoying myself. And we have our very own Alex Merritt and Isaac Flenner. It is an episode you do not want to miss. Now, Alex, your event on the 27th.
Yes,
can you
Sunday.
tell us what time it starts, what time it ends, and where the event is taking place?
It's 3 to 6 p.m. at the Moxie Uptown in Minneapolis. So it's going to be there. We also have dessert sponsored by Latunji's Palette. So again, so everybody who comes live will get a chance to enjoy that. And so it'll be delicious desserts and even sweeter discussion that truly gives you practical tools and insights to be able to communicate. So we always talk about communication, but there is an art and a science to communicating. And at dessert and discussion, you'll walk away with how to do that. And even through conflict, crisis, or even joy, but how to communicate and keep your relationship healthy and happy as you go forward. And like I said, there'll be couples from some of the most admired couples on the Love Seat. So I'm so excited about that.
Absolutely. You know, guys, for those of you that don't know, Alex actually taught me how to stop ghosting guys. Thank you very much. Hello, Hannah Gaston, Davier Wright, Vanetta from Arizona, North Carolina. Sorry, Vanetta from North Carolina. Thank you for being here. So last thing I would like to talk about, again, continuing to build relationship with self first so that you can have better relationship with everyone else. Let's go a little bit into why did you start this? What made you want to help us have better relationships?
It's one of those things where it started out with me. For me, I was, young, and you're thinking like the next logical thing is like, yep, you get married, you go to school, you do all these things. Well, I was dating a guy, and I remember the next logical thing was to get married, but I was like, I don't think this is how love is supposed to feel. I could have married him, but didn't want. I was like, what did I need to do to be loved? And I came across this quote from the Persian poet Rumi that changed my life. And the quote just simply said, your task is not to seek for love, but to seek within and remove all the barriers you built against it.
That's powerful.
And from that point forward, I realized that again, that I didn't have to end up like so many miserably married people I had seen. I could truly love, build great relationships, and then from there go forward. When I realized I needed it, then my married friends, my single friends, I was like, wait, there's a lot of people. It's one of those divine assignments where I was like, I think as an engineer, believe it or not, I see this thing differently. And so it is almost my divine obligation to make sure that I serve us. Because as an engineer, we took the oath, and the oath said that I would bring forward my skills to serve humanity. And this is just my way of doing that. So again, because I think relationships are the most important part of our world, and we get to do that.
That's incredible. And let me tell you, and then we're going to go straight into relationship with money with Isaac here. But speaking of relationships, for the audience here, because I know a lot of people have been asking me about how does it feel to be Black in South Korea? I have to tell you guys, from some of Alex's teachings, it's actually even helped me is kind of exist here, right? Because again, if you're loving yourself, building a relationship with yourself, although I had a little shock because I realized, and Alex, I want your input in this, I kind of feel like we've been a little traumatized because I was a little shocked that people would not acknowledge that I was Black, but just not care. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong with y'all? Do you not see? And I'm like, are we that traumatized to where I don't know. It's just very strange and beautiful in a way. And everybody's so polite and loving. And that literally correlates into building a better relationship with yourself, especially as a Black woman, Black man, and learning to exist peacefully within you, no matter what space you're in. Can we agree to that, Alex?
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And that's why the work I do is so important, because again, you have to learn how to love and be loved, because again, we do live in a world that for many of us, our families didn't teach it. Our experiences don't teach it. Our workplaces don't teach it. And so then you walk around guarded. But again, Rumi says you got to take down the barriers you built against love. And
Yes.
one of those is the social conditioning we've had. And so learning how to love and be loved, like I said, that's why dessert discussion is, like I said, I mean, what better place?
Yeah, you guys show up. Don't give them all the gems. Just show up to the event. So, Alex, I would like to give away 4 tickets to your event.
Yeah.
That's coming up on the 27th, 3 to 6 at the Moxie with the Love Engineer. You can find tickets if you want to go on Eventbrite or the Love Engineer's website, dessertandiscussion.com. But if you would like to put what does love mean to you in the comments, Alex is going to go to the comments and put, I pick you to give you your free ticket. Okay. So Alex was so gracious to join us, even though she's in a board meeting, y'all. But, she loves y'all. So that's why she's here. So tell us, what does love mean to you? And then Alex will come in the comments and pick the winner of the 4 tickets. It can be maybe 2 tickets for 2 people.
Yes.
There you go. Bring your loved one, whoever. And this is not for couples. This is for anybody.
Everybody, singles and couples, or complicated. Wonderful. It does not matter. Again, men and women who want to learn how to love, be loved, and have better relationships and improve communication.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex. So speaking of relationship, let's go right into from our relationship to people to our relationship with money. Bye, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us.
So much.
Okay, relationship with money. Isaac, come tell us about ourselves. So Isaac has so graciously decided to join us today. I don't think I'm in frame here. I'll come back in frame. There I am. So everybody has asked me, okay, Nancy, you always have experts come on, but we want to hear from the horse's mouth. I want to hear from the actual banks. How do I get this funding? How can I grow capital for my business? And how can I keep my small business alive so I don't go under? So my good friend Isaac here said, you know what, I'll come on and answer some questions. So Isaac, do you mind introducing yourself? And guys, I want you to type in your questions about money, lending, banking, as he's introducing himself. He is here 100% to answer our questions. So Alex, y'all, I'm learning a new language, okay? Kamsamida. So Isaac, please go ahead and tell us about yourself, and let's take some questions from the audience.
Hey, sounds good, Nancy. Thanks again for letting me be on the show today. Really appreciate it, and it was great to see you and a lot of your a lot of people that you have connections with at the Twin City Hair and Beauty Expo a couple of weeks ago. That was an awesome event, and you talked about good food and stuff. If you run across Thomason's cashew griddle, don't be afraid to buy some of that. They were, unfortunately for me, in the booth right in front of me, so I had plenty of that. But anyways, long story short, Nancy, I've been at Stearns Bank now for 18 years. Started when I was 12, just clipped 30 years old. All kidding aside, Gabe was giving me a hard time earlier today on my age. But I started out doing community lending just around St. Cloud. We're headquartered in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And from there, throughout my course of 18 years, I got involved with our SBA loan program and became an SBA lending manager. And I felt we were as quick as anybody when it comes to getting SBA loans across the finish line. But we also have in small town Albany, Minnesota, we have our equipment finance division. And here we were turning SBA transaction in a matter of days. They were closing equipment finance deals in a matter of hours, or in some cases minutes. So Kelly Skalicki, who you had on the show, was kind enough to let me spend some time out at the equipment finance division. And my current role today is the director of small business lending and equipment finance. So I've been on the sales side, Nancy, all 18 years at Stearns Bank.
Okay, so that's a big deal. So you would say you have a lot of expertise on lending small business. That's literally all that you do. And commercial, if I'm understanding right?
Yep, all commercial, yep.
Okay, so I have some comments here from our wonderful audience. And Nick, the CEO, who I absolutely love, said, I need to learn how to properly handle money and to keep my personal and business income separate. Can you tell me what are kind of the repercussions of not separating that money when trying to get some funds from the bank?
Well, I think a big thing is so you want to build personal credit, but you also want to build business credit, Nancy. And Kelly talked a lot about having a card on both sides of the coin. On the personal side, keep your personal stuff personal, get your business stuff established, and keep your business expenses on the business credit card. So that would be one thing, is just to develop and further establish credit in both areas.
Okay, so that's great. And someone is also asking, Nadine owns a plus size boutique out in Brooklyn Park. And she said, I want to learn how to keep my business alive and consistent. The biggest problem with small business is that we're bootstrapping from the very birth of our business into, 2-3 years in, because we usually don't take out loan because most people don't do startup loans, correct? But I'm understanding that Stearns Bank actually is able to do startup loans. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. The main source of funding for that is with our small business, the SBA loan, Small Business Administration. And it's a great way to do startup loans, Nancy. We do them at a high clip, have been doing that for decades. And to be honest with you, in my personal opinion, it's one of the best programs out there. You can get a long-term amortization, fully amortized, no balloon payments, up to 10 years. You can build in working capital. You mentioned, you might have to have inventory, expanding inventory. We got the Christmas season upon us here in the very near future, and the program offers expansion, real estate purchases, re-imaging or remodeling, inventory, working capital, right on through the list, for uses that can be used underneath that program.
Okay, that's really great. Now, when we talk about startups, now most banks ask for last year's taxes. Well, how do you get away with that if you just started your business and you may not have that much documentation? You may just have a great idea or a business plan, or maybe, a startup is anything under 5 years, right? So maybe you have a little bit of income. What are the required documentation in order to actually get approved for some type of capital? And how small is too small? What are the threshold of what a small business owner can ask for?
We've done loans 10,000 and up, Nancy. So can it be 9,000? There's no magical reason behind 10,000. Could be 9,000, could be 20,000. But to answer your question in terms of, there's startups and then there's businesses that are on the very infancy. Could be 3, 4, 5, 6 months in. For a true startup, the SBA program, it can be projection based. So we would ask, to put a pro forma together, 12 months out, that's projecting your revenues and your expenses. As far as if you've been in business for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, we would ask for a profit and loss statement for that time period. So if you started on January 1st, now that we're, coming up on September, we'd ask for a profit loss and a balance sheet through June 30th.
Okay, and I know that was really good information, Isaac. I know many of our audience members may not have a P&L. So I will tell them what I would do, and then you can give us a little bit of insight. But I'm a big fan of either QuickBooks or Wave apps, so that at least you have some type of accountant or a software that can do your reporting for you, because sometimes just having Square doesn't give you any reporting. Is that right, Isaac? Can you tell us what's the best practice and what would you tell business owners to have in order to have those reports created?
Yeah, absolutely. Some software, we see a lot of QuickBooks is probably the most common interim statements and year-end statements that we see. But no question, Square will, it will be a piece to the puzzle into an income statement, but it won't prepare it all, from the best of my knowledge anyway, with Square.
That's exactly my thoughts. So now I would love to go a little bit into conventional loans, SBA loans, equipment financing, because we do have restaurateurs here like Miss O, RCK Soul Food. We have Renita. She has a huge beauty salon out in Eden Prairie. Can you tell us a little bit of the loan types, loan amounts and limits? You don't have to go too much in detail if you don't want to, but we'd love to know what would actually fit as a true small business owner.
Yeah, well,
pull out your folders out, Isaac.
Yeah, no kidding. This should only take about 45 minutes, Nancy. So I know you don't have to catch a plane for 30 minutes, so we should have plenty of time here. So no, anyways, we have 3 different lending kind of verticals, and one of them is small business loans, which can be an SBA product or just a true bank conventional loan. And then we have our equipment finance division, which is small ticket. We have literally 35,000 customers around the country, and our average ticket size there is 70 grand, Nancy. So when I talked earlier, how small is too small? We do some of those that are over $1 million, and to get that to balance out, we're doing some at 10,000. So there really isn't a loan too big or too small within reason on either side of the spectrum.
Okay. So if, let's say, Nick, the CEO, says, I need $5,000 for my small business. I've run it for 2-3 years. I have a P&L. It's $5,000 is a doable amount for the bank. And what is the typical turnaround?
Yeah, the big thing is to your point is to get the profit loss statement, balance sheet, right? Because if they're just looking for whatever the 5,000 for, whether it's for inventory or expansion of a line, whatever the case might be, the profit loss statement, balance sheet, and the personal financial statement. So there's back to your original point, there's the business side and then there's the personal side. So we would ask for a personal financial statement. Nancy, I know you've helped out a ton of people getting the form. We can get that to anybody that's on this call, or we'll get it to Nancy. Nancy has it. And she could certainly help you along that trajectory to get that in front of us. And then to Alex, who just left or started the podcast, it's about a relationship. And banking is no different. We take a lot of pride, and our team is awesome. Is we answer the phone on the first ring. So you call.
I have to agree. Because I have called and they answer right away. But one thing that really struck me with you, Isaac, especially, I want all of you guys to know that Isaac worked throughout a weekend, a Saturday and Sunday. I never sleep, just to help someone get a loan. I called him, texted him, and he picked up every single time. So shout out to you. And, usually for Black-owned businesses, we don't feel like banks want to build a relationship with us. So when I saw Stern showing up for us, picking up phone calls, working over the weekend, that's a big deal, guys. So that's why I really want to hone in on this. So this is my number one favorite topic to talk about, and also a relationship that I want all of you to have, because this is not exclusive to me, right, Isaac?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And that relationship you're discussing, I mean, that was our CEO involved too on a Saturday and a Sunday during that. So yeah, we, Kelly sets a high bar for all of us. And I don't know anybody on the lending team that wouldn't take a call on Saturday, Sunday, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever the case is. So we're available, accessible, and we're happy to help. And if we can't, and we can maybe point you in another direction, we're happy to do that too.
Absolutely. So I would like to read some of the comments because they're coming in hot, Isaac. So Nick, the CEO, says, after hearing about this bank from Nancy Corsa at the Harris, I reached out, and the service was amazing. Wow, thank you so much. She's super excited to check out what you have to offer, and thanks for sharing. Thank you, Nick. So I want to tell all of you, by the way, we have now stearnsbank.com/Black Business Enterprises. They created our own landing page. And not just that, Kelly went above and beyond and created our own business credit card. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I know Kelly's been on the forefront of that. So yes.
I know you don't have a credit card in your name, Isaac. It's okay. But for BB, Isaac is like, what about me?
Oh, no, I do, Nancy.
Well, not Isaac Corp,
Yeah.
but BBE. Kelly went above and beyond and created the BBE powered by Stearns credit card business card, guys. So if you go to stearnsbank.com/Black Business Enterprises, you can actually apply for a credit card or a secured card business so that you can start building that credit. So I encourage you to go on there immediately. So that's stearnsbank.com/Black Business Enterprises. And everything is there. Okay, so Miss Davier says, sign me up. I need. And Rashonda Scott says she'll be reaching out on Monday. So your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. Would you like to give us a little bit more insight? I'm going to switch gear here.
Sure.
I hear that Stearns Bank is a preferred SBA lender. Is that right?
Yes.
Because you've been doing it so long, so you don't have to go through all the red tape.
So what it allows us to do, Nancy, is when we make a credit decision internally, we get a unilateral decision within the SBA. So I'd be lying if we were the only preferred lender out there. There are a number, but there are a lot that aren't preferred too. So it makes a difference in terms of turn time.
Mhm.
So yes, we've been a preferred lender for decades.
That's incredible.
And Nancy, through our conversation too, I know you'd once asked if we do franchise lending.
Yes, yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. We do franchise. I've dug through enough FDDs over the years. We do franchise lending in all 50 states. Have been doing that for a long time. Startup, acquisition, expansion, remodel. Want to do a second location after you already got the first one going, on and on and on. So yes,
Wow.
I just wanted to make sure, because I know you had mentioned the franchise space, and yeah, we're well aware of lending in that arena.
Absolutely. So, Kendra, Kathy's asking about what are the requirements for the business card. I can get those to you. I'm not sure if they're up on the website, but I can definitely get those to you a little later. Isaac is more on the lending side. So, Isaac, I would like to dive a little deeper now into what they need to do to get prepared for a loan. So I know a business plan for sure.
Yep.
Financial statements, with like we just talking about, the
Yep.
funding needed. Now, sometimes some business owners may say, "Oh, I just need 100 grand. I need $100,000." But most often than not, they don't realize that they may not need that much. So never to borrow more than they actually need. So can you dive in a little bit more and give us some more tips and tricks? And guys, I'm going to share everything as well after this. If you're a BBE member, that's going to come to you right in your email. Can you give us a little more insight so that we, like I said, we all have a little bit of trauma from being perpetually declined. If you agree, say agreed. So can you give us a little more insight on what's needed and how to be successful at actually getting funding?
Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. So from the startup standpoint, the projections are important. So I think of a business plan in two functions. Number one is your Excel spreadsheet, that lists out, here's what I'm going to do for revenue, here's what my expenses are to get to a bottom line. But just as important to that is your narrative piece. And part of the narrative piece is, I need $100,000, but here's why I need $100,000. I need 30,000 for payroll, 20,000 for inventory, 20,000 for working capital, 20,000 for equipment, whatever the case is. So then that's mirroring up. Then it takes the A and the B to then, now I'm ready to talk to a bank and say, hey, Isaac, I'm starting up this business. Here's what I'm projecting for revenues. Here's what my startup list of costs are. And then to me and then along with that, you need a personal financial statement, as we talked on the personal side, typically a tax return, personal financial statement. And then it's to Alex, and the relationship piece is, get on the phone, call us, call the 1-800 number. We'll answer on the first ring. We've got a bunch of great SBA small business lenders out there that are willing to help out, including Kelly is, Tom, Ethan, Nancy, who you've met, myself, and we have a number of SBA lenders, and I'll take our team and our back end team too. So always, how quickly can you close, right? And that comes from not only on the lending side with the front end, but on the back end too. And we got a very, very seasoned team that can move and know the SOP inside and out, and get us across the finish line as well as anybody in the country. I'm very confident in the experience that somebody will have. Nancy, full disclosure, we can't do every loan, right? We can't, but you're going to be able to talk to somebody, and you're going to be able to get in dialogue with somebody, and I hope we can be your bank and earn that business.
Absolutely. And guys, join as a BBE member if you need a little bit of help preparing your documents. So I want to go over some comments here. Vanetta is asking, Vanetta from North Carolina, for first-time business owners, does some SBA loans require a collateral in order to get that loan? Do you know anything about that?
Oh yeah, very much. It depends upon the size, Nancy, of the loan. But SBA, you don't have to be fully secured for an SBA loan. You would have a first interest, we call it a UCC filing, but a first lien on all business assets, or it might be a junior position in all business assets. But you don't have to be fully secured if that answers the question that Vanetta had.
Yes, that is exactly it. So next question. Now, franchise, and I know this is going to be a subjective question answer, but help me out. Since you do franchise lending, our Black community does not really invest into franchises, but they've known to be very successful. Would you recommend going into the franchising business since there is lending available? And have you more often than not see them be successful? We would love to know that.
Yeah, no, I think you have to follow your passion, right? If you like, name the franchise. I like to eat at this place, and I eat there so much I should probably own one because I'm spending so much money that I'd be better off serving food, whatever the case is. It really comes down to, and I talked that with the team too. What are you passionate about, right? And if it's Jimmy John's, I love Jimmy John's. I live in a town that there's nothing within town city. There's nothing within 20 miles of my my place of residence, and I want one in my backyard. Then back to the passion. If you're passionate about it, then I think you need to explore it for sure. And they have when I referenced the FDD, it lays it out what are parameters for starting up Jimmy John's in this case. It's going to cost X to Y on average, and it gives you a roadmap. You get some marketing from it. So I think, but you might also be that same person that says, I can do my own sub. Actually, my sub's better than anything that's out there right now, and I want to start up my own business. So I guess without repeat, go ahead, Nancy. You
Thank you. You saying, for example, we have Renita here who owns a salon. So let's say she wanted to franchise her salon. Is that something that you would look at her financials and say, okay, perhaps we can franchise this to others? Is there any help within the bank that helps business owners kind of navigate through those things? Because I know there's franchise fees, and you find your client. Yep. Is there any help behind that?
As far as the bank goes, to me, that I would go. That would be, you would get an attorney involved to help put that documentation together more so than the bank, Nancy. But if you have your salon and you want to have franchisees, so you become the franchisor and you want franchisees, yes, give us a call right away and we'll help put together financing for your franchisees.
Okay, that's brilliant. This is brilliant information. So some comments for you. This is so educational. I love this. Amazing. Thank you, Isaac. And on that note, I would like to shift a little bit and ask you some fire questions here that came in. How do you determine the best loan for a business customer?
Based on need, Nancy, there might be some businesses on the infancy of their business where they need the long tenure amortization that the SBA allows. There might be some seasoned business that just needs to add $10,000 of new equipment to their business. They've been around for a few years, and we would just look at equipment finance, which we call EFA, and just do something. We can do it application only, and we can process it, and that's the one where we can turn around in a matter of minutes. We've done our first deal, our quickest deal we've done out there from app to funding is in 82 minutes at equipment finance. So we can. We can turn
that's
quick.
True. That's true. So I just did some funding with Stearns, and I kid you not, under a week. I think I just have to sign, but I'm in South Korea. Under a week, like that. And I want to know what motivates you to move so fast for your clients.
I don't know if I need to say any further than you met Kelly, Nancy. I'm kidding. We work from Kelly and Kelly's father, Norm. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, they want to get a hold of you for a reason. We need to answer our phone. We need to get back to them quickly. We need to, whether we can get something done or not, a quick yes or a quick no. And that's just the culture we have here is how can we get something done quickly? And by the way, how can we even do it quicker? So, and that starts right from the top of the flagpole with Kelly, Nancy.
Okay, this has been incredibly informative. Isaac, any last words or last thoughts you want to leave with our audience? And I do encourage you, Isaac, after this live, you have about 100 questions that I think if you're able to answer, that would be really great. And before I move on to your last thoughts, many people are asking about building a strong credit foundation. Is it true that you need solid business credit in order to get funded? Because right now, there's places like NAV, there's places like Duns and Bradstreet charging an arm and a leg just to build business credit, when really all you need is to try and get approved for your first business credit card or your first secured business credit card. Do you, as a lender, do you really look at that business credit score before you look into funding someone?
Not necessarily, Nancy. And the reason I say that is if it's a true startup business, you wouldn't have any business credit, right? There'd be an emphasis on your personal credit because with an SBA loan, you do have to provide a personal guarantee. But there's no hard no that, hey, if you don't have business credit, you can't get a loan. That's not the case at all.
Now, when we talk about that personal guarantee, I know that is up to your discretion. And you told me yourself that you said yourself that the score itself doesn't necessarily matter. You're going to look at the situation and not the person. Can you confirm that or clarify that? Because again, as Black-owned businesses, most of the times we are pouring all of our resources out of our credit cards, bootstrapping the business. So by the time you need a loan, maybe your score is in the 600s. But you always pay your bills on time, but it's low because you put so much debt on your, or maybe $5,000 in debt on your credit cards. Can you tell me what does that look like, and what do you look for in a score or personal guarantee in order to help a business?
No, good question, Nancy. So we don't have a scoring model. We actually have a live body that underwrites each individual transaction, whether it's on the small business lending side or our equipment finance division. So that $10,000 transaction that somebody might look at doing, there's a live body that's underwriting that transaction. So, and then to further to your point in regards to your personal credit, everybody for the most part has a score, but what made up the score? Is it where maybe a credit card was maxed out or on the high end, but payments were never skipped? Or maybe it's we just opened a credit card and we have no other obligations, so there's not a lot of history out there. That's different than maybe you have 3 cards that are maxed out and you're behind on them and have been behind for some period of time, or there's late on this or late on that. For another example would be, a lot of people, 2008, 2009 was really tough on a lot of people. I mean, with the economy, the Great Recession. And but then how have they reestablished their credit since then? So, that's 15 years ago now, and have reestablished credit and doing things, paying bills, and things like that. That wouldn't be an automatic quote unquote scorecard and say that, oh no, we can't move forward because there was a bankruptcy in 2008.
That's really big, Isaac. Thank you so much for sharing that. Any last thoughts? And again, thank you for joining us today. And thank you to our incredible audience. Please don't forget to tag 10 people or more. Whoever tags the most people in this thread gets a $100 gift card giveaway. So make sure that you tag your friends to come and watch this, because this is important information. We are not gatekeeping here. We're not gatekeeping information. We want everyone to know this is public information. And Isaac just spent 40 minutes giving us all the deets. So we have no excuse to not know this stuff, right? So tag your friends, invite them in for a chance of winning a $100 gift card. Isaac, any last words and or advice that you can give BBE members?
Yeah, 2 things. Call us. If we'd love to have a conversation with you, and if there's any way to help, we will. And the number 2 is for September, Nancy, we're waiving our packaging fee. The SBA, there can be a packaging fee that banks can charge. So all of September, if you close a loan and subsequently open up a checking account with us, the packaging fee on that transaction goes to 0 for all of September. So another reason, the SBA guarantee fee for $500,000 and under is waived in that program. already. So there's, yeah, please reach out, call, give us a call, and we'd be thrilled to A, take your call, and B, get into conversation.
That's incredible. Thank you so, so, so much, Isaac. It was such a pleasure having you on. I hope you come back again. If you guys want Isaac to come back, go ahead and put a thumbs up in the comments, because as you know, this is Black Business Enterprises, and we are very fiercely protective of our community. So we only take in people that are truly wanting to help and sharing information. And Isaac is that guy. So if you want him to come back, put a thumbs up. Okay, I see them coming up. And Isaac, you're the coolest, man. So thank you so, so much for bringing knowledge to us. Are you planning to come back? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that, to get the invite, Nancy, and to be able to spend 45 minutes on the line here. And Gabe, thanks as well. It was nice to meet you. And Alex obviously is not on the call anymore, but it was great to meet her as well. So I really appreciate the time, and safe travels back, Nancy.
Thank you, guys. I'm hopping on a plane down to Paris, then Madrid. I will be calling in, so please make sure you follow the trail. We are going to be meeting BBE members in Italy next, so I can't wait to share that with you. Isaac, have an incredible day. Gabe, you've been incredible. Audience, okay, you killed it today. And I'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.